Hi, welcome to the Old Geezer's Diary. It's Saturday the 17th of August 2019. I think you probably would have had to live with a bag over your head if you hadn't heard about a young police officer, PC Andrew Harper, who was killed in an incident late on Thursday night. I was going to say something about this on the diary yesterday, and then I decided I didn't want to because I wanted to think about it a bit more. I think this is awful, and I think all our sympathies should go to his family, his wife. They'd only been married a few weeks, and his colleagues at work and his friends, because he came across, or he sounded like a sensible, intelligent young man who went about his job, with a good heart. And then he's called out to an incident, and doubtless a few minutes after he arrived there, he's laying dead in the road. And I wonder about some of the background to this story, because one of the things we all know is that there is increasing crime in the UK, and I wonder whether we're laying it at the right doors. It's not the criminals, because they just take advantage when they can. I think a huge amount of the cause of crime in the UK and the rise, the increase in crime, is down to our government. We had Mrs May as Home Secretary cutting police budgets, and then we had Mrs May as Prime Minister cutting police budgets. And I think that what's happened, we've now got Boris Johnson who's saying we're going to have 20,000 extra policemen tomorrow. That's not going to happen, but obviously we're going to have some extra policemen over 2 or 3 years if this happens, if this plan goes through. But I think what's happened is that it will take a long time to get back to the status quo that we were at 5 or 6 or 10 years ago. What we've done is cut, and reduce the capacity of police to deal with everyday crime, really because they don't have enough people. And that, I think, can be solidly put at the government's door. Indirectly, I think you can also say this instance with this poor young policeman has kind of gone down the same route as well. If there were more policemen available, if there were more backup guys available, then this might not have happened. And also the criminals who did this, the people who caused the problem in the first place, might not have decided to do whatever robbery they tried to do. But because in this instance the police feel, I guess you would say, so undermanned, so understrong, or insufficiently strong to deal with all the problems that are occurring, criminals get more confidence, and I think that's really bad, and I think that's really awful, and I think we really ought to do something about it and address it. In this country, we've had a government that has cut money out of everything from our local authority to the police and to social services and to looking after people. They forget what we actually vote for governments for. What we vote for governments for is to look after us and our country. We don't employ them, for instance, to look after the world's bankers, who can usually run enough crooked deals to look after themselves. What we do is employ a government to look after the population and the well-being of our country. And it seems to me very much as if they've forgotten that. We see it through people who suffer through lack of healthcare. Sometimes we see it through people who suffer through lack of welfare, and in this instance we see it through lack of backup and sufficient support to the police service, who are required to go out and deal with dangerous situations, and sometimes those dangerous situations get out of hand because maybe the crooks have got too much confidence. So I think it's time to deal with this for once and for all, and to have our government say, what are you going to do to put it right? 20,000 policemen in 3 years' time is fine, but what are you going to do in the shorter term to get things sorted out? I'm Chris, this is the Old Geezer's Diary. As you can tell, I'm feeling a bit sad and sorry today, and I think we probably all are.